famously having participated in Operation Black Buck, and the eponymous book is a great read all about the raid on Port Stanley Airfield in the Falklands, back during the Falklands War, which perhaps synonymised the saying I heard in the bar from some of the display pilots last night: fighter pilots make movies, bomber pilots make history. She has a maximum speed of 640 miles an hour at height, so it's just below the speed of sound. Ceiling of 65,000 feet. And it's very fighter-like in her handling capabilities. In fact, for a very big aircraft, the cockpit itself just has two seats side by side. Instead of the standard you'd expect to see in an airliner, it actually has a joystick like you'd see in a fighter. Interestingly, just a little bit under the 22,000 pounds of the Lancaster that we saw earlier. Remember, as I say, both designed by Roy Chadwick. So she can carry 9.5 tons of iron bombs, or of course, nuclear weapons, part of the B-Force, which comprise the Vulcan, the Victor and the Valiant. And perhaps one of her most famous TV roles was in the original Thunderball. The Vulcan was keeping it hydrated, I should say, for its nuclear bombs, and floating into the water to sink to the sands of the Bahamas. There we are, you can see that gaping hallway there. Designer Roy Chadwick tragically died in an aircraft crash in 1947, so he never saw his brilliant design fly, nor did he see it become the first successful operational delta-winged aircraft in the world. Similarly, Reginald Mitchell designed the Spitfire, didn't see it enter service as he died in 1937, but he did at least see the Spitfire fly the year before. Hard to believe that it was only 11 years after the Lancaster first flew that the Vulcan first flew. You almost believe they were from different centuries. We saw the aircraft swerve in a very steep wing over as it came in front of us. It was even rolled at the Farnborough Air Show by its test pilots. Swedes are the bringer of war. It's actually true that the Vulcan was the deterrent.
Yeah, that's fine.
While in the nuclear bomber role, the aircraft were all white, which is for anti-nuclear flash. And then when redeployed in the traditional bombing role, that was when they adopted the camouflage colours that we can see in front of us today. This aircraft has the Lincoln coat of arms on the fin, plus the Panzer's head of number 1 group on the nose, thus representing all Vulcan squadrons in the 1970s, numbers 9, 12, 27, 35, 44, 50, 83, 101, and 617 squadron, famous land buffers, as well as number 230, the operational conversion unit. This aircraft was the first V2 version of the Vulcan, which entered service